Yu Dan Shi has always been exceptional. She started high school when she was 8, graduated with her first university degree at 17, and was commanding a large salary in the tech industry before she was out of her teens.
I was, very driven. I was working 7 days a week, and those days I also didn't have family, or it was just like all you do is just working. I remember I woke up one day and my mom screamed. And she's like, "What happened?" I'm like, "What happened?" She goes, "Oh, the back of your hair is white." And I'm like, "Oh." And so I had a look. It was true. I think that was the first time I realized I was working too hard, and I was only 20 years old, so that was ridiculous.
This was a huge warning sign for Yu Dan. She knew things had to change.
So I had my little burnout in Shanghai, so then I decided to come to Australia, so it would be easier here.
In Sydney, Yu Dan worked hard to obtain all the traditional markers of success. She completed her master's degree, married, had children, and worked her way up to an executive role at a Fortune 100 company.
For some reason, I just wasn't happy. When I got there, I was miserable. I was tired every day, and I had this beautiful office overlooking Sydney Harbour. And I remember I was envying the people outside the window because they're like under the sun, they were laughing, and here I am trapped in a boxed office. I didn't feel successful. I didn't feel happy.
While Yu Dan tried to ignore those feelings, her body found a way of telling her something wasn't quite right.
I was just finished another long day of business meeting, and I remember the taxi was literally exiting the Sydney Harbour Bridge to the North Sydney Highway, and I just felt so sick. I felt so much pain on this right side of my body, and I felt like really nauseous. And I knew something was really, really wrong with me at that moment. So I told the taxi driver just to take me straight to the nearest hospital, and I blacked out.
Yu Dan was rushed to hospital with a life-threatening gallbladder infection. Emergency surgery was the only way to save her life.
The doctor said this condition normally happens to people who's much older than my age. And the explanation is stress, extreme stress.
This was finally the wake-up call Yu Dan needed to take her stress management seriously, but was nervous to take the first steps.
It felt like it came with the package. Like, aren't you meant to be stressed? Isn't that what we were taught all throughout our life? No pain, no gain. It's almost like a badge of honor for a lot of high achievers. So in the pursuit of success, I think I lost a lot of me. But this is actually quite normal. The reason I hit that breaking point, now I call defining moment, is not a crisis. It was actually a great opportunity for growth. All it was saying, it was part of me saying, hey, reconnect with me. Like, whose life are you living?
Yu Dan looked to education for an answer. She earned another degree, this time in psychology, and eventually left her corporate career to start her own business coaching high-performing clients from all over Australia to help them reach their best potential without hitting the burnout she experienced.
We are not taught how to reflect. We are a busy society, so we are always just do. And to me, if you start to understand both success and failure, that little setback is what makes life interesting. I'm so grateful for that period of dissatisfaction because it forced me to study, forced me to research. And when you can make sense of your own challenges, this is also when you can actually create meaning. Don't be afraid of these little challenges because it's all about learning about ourselves and learning about how to live, right? We're not taught at school, so this is a great opportunity.